Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop, that's the sound of the bass. Yeah, you're gonna hear that regular in this thing. Titles. Straight in, no messing. Greetings one and all, this is Riddleworks and welcome to my channel with some Battlefield Hardline beta action. This time it is the open beta as opposed to the closed beta, which I had the privilege of playing all of 7 months ago. It is more or less a teaser to the forthcoming release of the game, which will be on the 20th of March. Now, if you haven't got this, it's free. What are you waiting for? Download it. Now, please don't get confused with the initial download as being the download of the full game. The initial download will probably take something like around 15 minutes, but when you actually get into the game, you've got another huge download to go, which will probably take you in excess of 45 minutes, an hour. Do you know what I mean? Probably even more. I was fortunate enough to actually download it the moment it was made available. I did check in the PS Store and it wasn't available for download at that point, so I turned it off, turned it back on around 5 minutes after that, and it was available. So I just was on the case in like flint, and I downloaded it from late morning, early afternoon. But I'm hearing from a lot of other people that they're taking a long time to download, and I just think that's just down to the amount of people, the traffic that's trying to download the beta, which I had the same problem with just after they mentioned it on E3. So, you know, it is sod's law basically, but that's more or less it. That's what you got to go through to more or less download the beta. Now, one thing you're gonna more or less encounter as soon as you get into the beta is people singing whoop whoop, that's the sound of the police, etc, etc. KRS-One's seminal classic. That kind of reminds me of when you first got into Grand Theft Auto 5 and robbed your first convenience store. Everybody was saying, give me the fucking money, give me the fucking money, give the money, motherfucker. Yeah, that was all right for the first day or the first couple of days, but you're gonna sound like a knob if you keep doing it, because you can literally put a vacuum cleaner to your headset and get the same results. You know what I'm saying? So that will basically fade. But everybody from Ireland to China is singing to that. You know what I mean? Which is good. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, make KRS-One some paper, man. The original hip-hop veteran, man. None of your freaking stupid ass bullshit that you're hearing today. You know what I mean? The original hip-hop veteran, you get me? So yeah, so that's what you're gonna encounter. Anyway, onto the beta, onto the game. Now, there are 3 modes included in this beta. Now, the first one, which is Heist, which was more or less in the original beta. The second mode is Conquest Large. And the third, and by far, which is my favorite so far, is Hotwire Mode. The reason why I like Hotwire Mode, not because it is Conquest on wheels, because I don't really play Conquest, and I really play Conquest to that great deal in Battlefield 4. You have to understand that I'm a late adopter to the series. When I actually got into first-person shooters, it was due to Far Cry 3, and I decided to get into Battlefield and also Call of Duty, give them both equal playing, equal billing to begin with, to see which game best tailored my shooter, first-person shooter needs. And hands down, it was definitely Battlefield. I found Battlefield to be more gritty and more realistic to some degree. But I'm not going to get into the whole Call of Duty v Battlefield thing. You know, it's whatever you like. You know, it's like Apple and PC. Do you know what I'm saying? Or Mac and PC. You know, it's just down to whatever. Whatever is your preference. You're still going to get the same thing out of it. You know what I mean? So it's all good. But by far, for me, the mode of the beta, it is Hotwire. Simply because the game keeps freaking moving. It just keeps moving. You can't sit down. And when you capture the cars, you have to drive the cars fast in order for the capture meter to go up. And that's more or less it, is how long you can keep those cars for, you know, basically. And that is what I like. I like games that keeps moving. You don't keep still. It test your dexterity as to what weapons you need and what loadouts you need for any particular situation. And yeah, Hotwire does it for me. Now, the question is, for me, will I get into the real Battlefield modes, the real fan-friendly Battlefield modes like Conquest, the large maps and stuff. And it's interesting because one of my gaming buddies had the same opinion as I did when he first started playing Battlefield. He basically said to me that he was a team deathmatch dude, close quarters kind of guy through and through. And when it came to him playing on the Conquest maps, on the large maps, he was not feeling it. He hated it with a passion. But when he actually put time into the game and got into the game and realized the workings of the game types, he puts Conquest over team deathmatch any day in a Battlefield session. And I thought, okay, that sounds interesting. That sounds like just something to really get my teeth into when the time arrives, you know. It's kind of sad that I didn't get into the whole the Conquest mode in Battlefield 4. But you know what, you know, sometimes you gotta sip stuff, you know what I mean, to appreciate the flavor, you know what I'm saying? Like a good wine, you can't just down the bottle of wine, you know what I mean? You gotta sip it, enjoy the flavor while it's there, sort of thing. So I think with Hardline, I'm definitely going to give the Conquest thing a go. And another good thing that I do like about this game is that it's going to serve as a standalone game within the Battlefield franchise, because it's going to return to its roots, its military roots, sooner or later. And with this game, it's going to be a game that it's going to give, well, I'm not even going to say it's going to give Grand Theft Auto some trouble, but it's going to kind of teach Grand Theft Auto a lesson as to, you know, what is needed from a Grand Theft Auto-esque kind of game. Do you know what I mean? Although I appreciated what Grand Theft Auto came out with to begin with, what I'm noticing now is that with developers now, they're more or less kind of borrowing, or dare I say it, plagiarizing from other games. One mode in particular is called Crosshair mode, and that is heavily borrowed from Rainbow Six's Siege, yet unreleased 5v5 no respawn versus mode shooter that they haven't included in the beta, which will be very interesting as to see how that pans out in the final release of the game. And I just think we're encountering a trend where games want to give you more bang for your buck, especially with the multiplayer online scenario, which, you know, to me is standard. You know, games have got to give you that bang for your buck, or else it's not going to make sense with all the PS Plus subscription, internet, electricity, yada 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 you're paying for. You need to have a game that's going to make you forget about all that costs involved for you to enjoy the game fully. Do you know what I mean? And believe it or not, I think Destiny has set that precedent. Personally speaking, I think it's set that precedent where you need to have more variety in a game nowadays, more than just the one game or the one mode within the game. And I think with Rainbow Six Siege, I think with what Battlefield Hardline is going to do, I think the only thing that Ubisoft can do is to actually bring down the price of the game. Because if it's only the one mode you got in the game, and you got, like, I don't know, different weapons or different skins and stuff, that's not going to really cut it to serve as justification for a £50 price tag or a $60 price tag. You've got to give the game, or have the game have more bang for your buck, definitely, without a question. And Destiny has definitely set that precedent in the content of a game and the quality of a game that follows on from that. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to be very, very interested to see how this game pans out with all the different modes and stuff. I'm pretty much stoked for this game simply because of the different modes involved, and for the fact that the possibility for it to stand up as a standalone game for you to play alongside any iteration of Battlefield, whether it be Battlefield 5, 6, 7, whatever. This game will still be a game that you're going to play alongside Battlefield, just to make a change from the military style that we're accustomed to in Battlefield. You know, I think it's a brave move on DICE's and Visceral's part, and the one thing I really do hope is that it plays well on the final release. My findings so far is that the mechanics play pretty decent. The graphics are slightly sharper, and I suppose they have to be simply because of the fact that with its military roots, with its military setting as being more rustic and dirty, with Hardline is more contemporary, so you know the lines have to be more sharper, more sleeker, but not too much where it looks cartoony. And I do appreciate the slight graphical upgrade from its predecessors. But other than that, it's a nice game to play. It's a nice game to play. Hotwire is definitely the lick for me. You know, keep the shit moving. That's what I like. That's what I like about shooters. You know, keep the shit moving. You know, with the exception of The Last of Us, which definitely has a more strategic twist to it. You know, when games are tailored to that vein, that style of play, you know, it's good. But when you need games where you don't have people on the edge of the map, but I suppose old habits die hard in Battlefield. You're gonna have your map border snipers in on the action, in on the scene, as it were. You know, it's horses for courses. But overall, it is a good game so far to play, and I'm looking forward to seeing how everything pans out with the full version of the game. And it's definitely a must buy for me. I'm buying it without question, hesitation, deviation. So it's with that. It's adios for now. Thank you for watching. Thank you for stopping by. And you know the coup. Whatever the game format, genre, platform, happy gaming, because that is what it is all about, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, brothers and sisters. And until I catch you on the next one, stay blessed, Magan.